Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Pradeep from ArmwrestLINN News, and this is the official first podcast deep inside arm wrestling, as some of you suggested in the names that we asked you guys to. And it is officially the first one, like Travis says it every time on his live
Wait,
stream.
wait, 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 wait. Rewind for 1 second. Did somebody else actually come up with that? Was that someone's suggestion?
Yeah, yeah. Under
Okay.
your video, we did an interview on your channel, and somebody suggested it there.
Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know that because I just saw it on the thing. I just clicked, yeah.
yeah, it was a suggestion. It was a suggestion from someone. So I think we are going to discuss three topics today. Mainly, first East versus West arm wrestling tournaments, and we are going to Paul. My plan is to discuss that topic in detail with Engin, you, and I on East
Yeah.
versus West channel. So if you have some
Yeah.
time, then please let me know. I've already asked Engin about this.
Listen, you just tell me when, okay?
All right.
I'll the next week for the next week, in between Christmas and New Year's, I'm gonna be easy sailing, easy
Okay.
sailing. So I got 5 days off for no reason. So put me up.
All right. And the second topic is about AMC Arm Wrestling, which is a big event. It is going to
Yeah.
happen tomorrow. And there is one event today as well, which is about time. I think it is about to happen. Vitaly Lalitin super match. And the third event, the third topic, I want to discuss a specific topic like the representation of women in arm wrestling. This topic kind of got brought up, and I'll let you know afterwards. First we'll discuss the other two topics, and if we are left with some time, then we are going to discuss the third one. So first of all, Paul, the AMC tournaments, let's start with that one. Do you know about that event? Like, I uploaded a video, were you able to watch
I
that?
do. I do, and that's because I had a 3 hour drive on the way back from practice, and I listened to your recap. So now I'm well aware. I was kind of aware of it coming in, but I got a little bit more detail now.
Mm-hmm.
The main
so
players, and such. And
so who are your favorite?
I didn't realize there was $16,000 on the line.
Yeah, not for one category, but I think for the super heavyweight it is 6,000, and for overalls it is 10,000, or maybe the other way around. For supers it is 10, and for overall 6,000. I don't know the exact number, but if you win supers and overalls, you get $16,000 home.
Yeah,
You take them.
that's good. That's good
So who is
stuff.
your favorite in that super heavyweight category?
Oh, so who are the top ones again?
So Vitali is
Um,
not there. Vitali
Vitaly's
is
not competing.
going to have a super match maybe in 30 minutes from now against Artem Grishin.
So, well, and that's separate from this event,
Yeah, that's
correct?
separate. It's a right arm super match. I think best of 5 or maybe 6 round super match. And Artem Grishin, yeah, I did a small research on him. I think he finished second in 110 kg WAF in 2021 Romania. And
Okay.
he was the WAF champion in 2017. I think he beat Vitali when Vitali was competing in 110 kg division. So do you think he has any chance whatsoever against Vitali?
Oh
Like,
no, is he bigger now?
that was my question as well. Like, unless he's
That would be
gained a
the
ton
first
of
thing
weight
I
in.
would think. 110 and then the Vitali now. I don't know.
Yeah, seems difficult for him. But let's see. I'll update you guys as soon as that match is over.
So for the AMC tournament, we got Dmitry Salayev, right?
Yeah,
Zauer,
Farid.
um, Farid. Yeah, those are the three. Those are the three top dogs, right?
Yep.
I don't know how to pick. Like I don't like. We saw Dmitry Salayev beat Vitali, and he's been on a little tear lately. And then Zauer, obviously. I don't. To me, this should be telling. I don't really know how to pick a favorite or a front runner. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I feel like the data that's going to come out from this is probably going to be pretty prevalent for, where does the world, where is that maybe 5, 6, 7 spot in the world? I don't know.
I think we would need a little bit more time for that because Farid Osmanli is competing there in that tournament. So he's going to face Zaur. And depending on Farid performs against Zaur, if it is a fresh match, then we are blessed to watch that. It will be amazing. Because after that, Farid will be flying to Turkey, or I think he already lives there. He is, and then he's going to face Gennady Quickvinia. And we have a ton of data on Gennady Quickvinia.
Yeah.
Then we can make some conclusions as to where those Selaev and Zaur Pezulaev guys are.
Right. And I mean, I'll tell you what, we're only about 4 weeks out. That's close proximity to that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I won't want to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, I was trying to imagine, like, what would be going through my mind if I am, let's say, if I'm Zaur Paizulayev. Of course, I would expect to dominate everyone at that tournament. Then I would be watching East versus West tournament, and I would hope that Farid somehow beats, he smacks the
Yes,
shit out of Gennady quickly. Yeah, that would be
absolutely.
the ideal day for Zaur Paizulayev. And for Farid, of course, he would like to win both matches. And for Gennady, he would assume that Farid goes there, beats Zaur, and then Gennady himself beats Farid. So it's kind of
Yeah.
weird situation for all of them. I think those people will be watching this tournament.
I mean, I understand the motivation though. I mean, I guess like we had talked about like how money stretches in different places.
Yeah.
$16,000 potentially, for an overall. Because if you win the open category, there's a strong possibility you're going to win the overall too.
Yeah.
So I
It
mean, if
happened
you can
both
go
times.
for
First time the super heavyweight was won by Dmitry Salaev. He won the overalls. Second
yeah,
time Zaur Paizulayev was like a level above everyone. Like he just dominated. No match. Nobody was able to stop him.
yeah, and if that money stretches further over there, man, I understand why a guy would say, all right, well, I'm going to do them both,
Yeah.
regardless of if it has a negative impact.
And that kind of prize money, the good thing is that they're doing this tournament every 3 months. So the last one was in August, and the first one was 3 months before that. So every 3 months.
Do they pay in the weight class down to third place? Is there like a third
Yeah,
place
yeah,
prize money?
yeah. I've seen those
Yeah.
posters, like $6,000, and maybe the second one gets 2,000, third one 1,000. I'm not sure, but yeah, they pay three guys. I'm not sure about the lightweight classes, but I do remember that for the super heavyweights.
Well, and I mean, if you look at it that way, like if you know you're gonna like place top three, then you got to go, kind of,
Yeah,
for the money. Why not?
yeah. At least your expenses will be covered even if you place third.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think I have Artem Grishin. I sent him or tagged him in a story. He's still liking my comments. So I hope his match versus Vitali is a few, maybe an hour away from now, because he
Yeah.
won't be scrolling through Instagram if he was.
Don't be distracting him.
I send messages to like a lot of Russian guys, which I like sent to Artem and a few others, and they always reply in perfect English, like perfect
Yeah.
English. I don't know what's up with that. They're using translation, or everyone knows English over there. Like, what is happening?
Well, usually when I'm communicating with guys from Europe, and I can tell when they're using translator
Okay.
because nothing translates fluidly. So if it makes sense in perfect English, they're probably right. Because translator just doesn't always send the right picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I was asking Levan once, like the place where you live. Like when we search it on Google, it says both Asia and Europe. So where exactly do you live? Are you in Asia, or are you in Europe? Where is your hometown? And even Levan was like, he was also not kind of sure about that. He gave me a few
Yeah.
reasoning, like, so he's like, now you decide what you what you want to say, whether it is Asia or, like, I understood nothing from that. Same thing for Engin as well. I think I asked Engin when I invited him on my channel for the first time, and he said where he lives, that part is in Asia.
Right.
But Turkey as a nation, they compete in Europeans.
Yeah. Who knows where the continental divides are though, too, because like you said, if it can go through a country, how do you even track that?
Yeah. Okay. So my favorite would be for sure Zaur Pezolaev to win that event. And the lightweight classes, do you know that Alan Zoloev is competing,
Yeah.
and one
Heard you
more guy,
say.
I forgot his name. Like there was one more top contender, like who could potentially challenge Alan Zoloev. But I think he has to be the favorite. Like the dominance he showed in 2021, like beating
Right.
Arthur Makarov inside a hook like comfortably. That
Yeah.
was that meant something.
Yeah.
And he's still young. Like I'm not sure if he's 21 years old or how old is he.
Where is the AMC tournament held? Who's back?
The event is the place is called Chechnya. Let me,
Yeah, I know where Chesney is.
yeah.
Who backs it? Is it an organization? Is it backed by WAF?
I don't think,
I'm
no, for sure it is not backed by WAF,
okay.
because the Russians are not allowed. Like why would WAF
Oh,
conduct any
right, right,
matches in
right,
Russia? Yeah.
right. So okay.
But
So
do you see in
okay,
the
no,
future,
I'm not.
like some North Americans may also want to travel over there if the $16,000 prize money like is there
Right.
every time?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, I haven't really heard anyone over here talking about it. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for me catching up on your videos, I had heard a little bit of talk about it, and I remember seeing them prior, but like the AMC name didn't ring in my head. It's like these promotions like the Nomad League. Like I saw them happening and watching the matches, but the promotion itself wasn't sticking with me, or what the question of the longevity of the promotion too. So I guess, if this AMC league is going to happen every 3 months or whatever, and they become more prevalent, I would be surprised if there aren't North Americans who are willing to go take a crack at 6,000 in their class and 10,000 in the overall. I mean, it'd be interesting. I'd love to see a guy like Corey West throw himself into that mix.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And we've been on for about 10 minutes. Let me read a few comments. JR Williams is in the house. And is this live? Yes, of course it is live. So Vitaly is going with the guaranteed dollars appearance. Can't say I blame him. Yeah, that's an interesting thought as well, because he could have went to Chechnya event. There was a 16,000. He could have potentially won $16,000 there, but he chose not to. He is competing in a separate event. That's interesting. Adam Hasty saying good day, Pradeep and Paul. Hey there, the chat. Welcome, brother. Gennady, you beat Gennady. You are top 5. Would say, possible. Derek P has become a member of the channel. Thanks very much. Who runs AMC and how can they afford to pay the roughly 25k total and live stream free? Sponsors or wealthy benefactor? Interesting question. That's what Paul also asked. For now, we do not have the answer for that question, right? Like, yeah, Paulin is all in. Every 3 months, what is the event name? AMC. I'm not sure about the full form, but you can subscribe to the YouTube channel AMC Arm Wrestling. You can just type it and it will pop up. So the next topic, Paul, East versus West. Like, how great is this idea? Like, what Engin is doing, we kind of expected that it can happen, but not at this pace. When Engin started organizing the events in 2021, we were like, yeah, it is a good idea. But we weren't sure that Engin would be announcing matches. Like, he would be having trouble not announcing matches because of the volume that he can generate 15, 16 matches every time, and still there are tons of matches. So we are getting matches more than we expected. We are telling Engin to stop. Like, this is how good it has been now. So this is amazing. Like, I wouldn't have expected such thing like tournaments, qualifiers to get to East versus West for maybe next 2 years, but it is happening now.
Dude, Engin, like before getting involved with East versus West, I'm watching everything. And I'm thinking to myself, man, like, holy crap, this guy is like he's moving at lightning speed, I remember thinking, like, can it move this fast, And then once you start dealing with Engin, you realize just how much of a savage he is. He just doesn't sleep, I don't think. Like, I really don't know if he sleeps. And if he does, it's probably like very, very short increments. He is in communication with everyone at all times. And he is trying to stay one step ahead, like, or 2 steps ahead. And when he puts his mind to something, he is like, it's now. You know what I mean? Because I know what the coordination level takes for one event, let alone 8 in North America and South America, and then 8 more in Europe, all through different people, all with competing and conflicting calendars and different promotions and everything else. And he is just driving it along. So, yeah, it's moved faster than I ever expected that it could. Like, we know that this is something that this is something that can be easily done, but the time frame in which it's getting done is the most impressive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very short time frame, like from the grand scheme of things. Like, I have an involvement with WAL in the past, and seeing and being a part of their qualification series. The lead time on that and the pre-organization and everything was already in place. This has just kind of happened like that, like Engin getting on the phone with a bunch of people, putting them in a group chat and pushing everything along. So, I mean, the amount of decisions and stuff that have been made in these past weeks as a group, it has been insanely, like, it's crazy. And he ropes it all together,
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that maybe sometimes he likes to claim that, yeah, he doesn't know about this thing, but that man is a genius, like social media genius, I would say. He knows more about Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, and Instagram, probably more than a 20-year-old, most of them. Like, he's killing it on, like, uploading. He probably makes 20 posts at least a day. combined
It's
on
crazy.
all platforms.
It's crazy. And they're all thought out, It's
Yeah.
not like you just throwing
Yeah.
junk out there and seeing if it sticks. The other thing is you can tell he's got like a photographic memory, like in a way, like he remembers dates and locations and things. Like even like for me, if you wanted me to go through all the information that Angan went through in his live last, like, just recently, I'd have to write it all down. I'd be saying and another place that I can't remember, and a date that I can't remember, but he's got it all. Some people are like that. I wish I was more like that.
Are you involved in any capacity in organizing these tournaments in USA, the
Oh,
qualifiers?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Engen reached out, like, I think maybe to me first. I don't know. And I was like, immediately like, okay, well, let's talk a little bit more and let's figure this out because we're going to have to spread these things out. And I immediately said, like, all the promotions that I do over here, I do with my partner, James Reed, and his wife, Michelle Dugan. And they do promotions all over the country. And I said, I would want to bring him in because of his organizational like prowess that I don't have. I'm okay on the promotion end, but when it comes to the actual like meat and potatoes of organizing the tournament, I rely heavily on him. So at that point, Angle was like, okay, well, do you guys want to do all of these things, or do you just want to do like one or two? And I said, that's up to you, and I would have to go back to James, see his availability. So we have the Northeast one, which is going to be in New Jersey. And then we're also going to help coordinate with the Texas one. And we'll also have Florida, Washington, Southern California, I believe, and Illinois. And each one of those is going to have their own representative. Cobra is going to take care of Illinois. Yeah, you got it right there. Chance Shaw is going to take care of Florida, Tim Talmadge in Washington, and Derek Smith out there in California. So a lot of these dates are roughly set already, but we still need confirmation in venues. So the dates are coming to fruition. We're just going to need to procure venues.
And the finals, Virginia in May, and Travis Bagent and John Brezink. So okay,
Yeah.
there is only one final. Got it. In Virginia.
So Travis was going to have a pre-existing event. He was already having it. I mean, I think you probably had already seen some advertisement, maybe that Devin was going to be there along with John. There was going to be matches, all kinds of good stuff. I was going to be there. So we're probably going to use that event. Right now, we're just trying to finalize the date. That event was originally on the 6th. We're looking to potentially, if everything works out, maybe move it a week or two to the right to allow the final qualifiers to have a little bit of rest between the finals. So that's still a little bit up in the air, but the venue and everything is already solid. That May 6th, and the venue is in place.
All right. Performance enhancing pancake is in the house. Welcome, brother. Alexander Clark. Carlos, did you see Pablo doing one arm pull up with static hands?
He's a weirdo. And I seen other people in the comments saying like, well, I knew this. There's this other guy who's 260 and can do that like for 10. And I'm like, okay, cool. Show me. Like that is a weird thing.
Yeah.
And again, there's certain like feats of strength that enamor me, like the grip strength stuff. It doesn't enamor me as much, but I know that I have very good pulling strength. Like I can do 2-arm pull-ups with a whole bunch of plates and all this good stuff. But if I get up on a pull-up bar with one hand and let go, I go like that. And I don't think that there's any level of training that would take less than 2 or 3 years for me to be able to even hold myself up, let alone be 250, 260 and do it with a 25-pound plate. So to me, that puts you on weirdo level. And I've known the only other guy I've known that could like do like Kenny Smith out of Maryland at 210 pounds could do a bunch of 1-arm pull-ups, and he could do like 1 or 2 1-arm pull-ups with like a 25, 35-pound plate. That does not equate to Pablo being 40, 50 pounds heavier. To me, that's super weirdo, like superhuman stuff.
I think the guy that messaged you, he may be talking about Andres Maev. I think he can do. He's like almost a 300-pound guy, and he can do 1-arm pull-ups. But he's like crazy. He holds a world record or something. Like he's almost 300 pounds, and he maybe more than that, and he can do 2-arm pull-ups with like almost 300 pounds added on top of that.
Yeah,
So with almost like
yeah.
550 pounds in total.
Super weirdo. Super
Yeah.
weirdo. I have
And
not, like I said, Kenny Smith was the only guy I knew over 200 pounds that
mhm.
could do that level of anything. Now I know like Brandon Elsesser can do them with his body weight and everything at like 210 as well. But to me, to, I guess just because I feel like there's such a huge gap for me ever being able to do it. I don't know.
So last time we talked with Pablo, he was in the chat about this topic, and as soon as he did those pull-ups, and he was talking about like he hasn't done them in years. So I was like, okay, Pablo, let's try to do them together. And I didn't know that he's going to get them in like a week.
Yeah.
And he messaged me like, now it's your turn. He messaged me on Instagram, and I'm like, no, I'm like almost 88, 89 kilos right now, and I probably need to get to 75 to be able to do that. And he was like, why? Just get strong.
Yeah. 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 Thank you for that advice, Pablo. Greatly appreciated. My approach would also be to lose weight.
Man, I don't know. For some reason, some people feel strong when they get big. But for me, if I lose weight, I feel strong. If I'm weighing 80 kilos and you add like 10 kilos on top of me, then I can do more pull-ups compared to when I'm weighing 90 kilos myself.
Mhm.
I don't know. It works that way for me.
Man, everybody has one. You just gotta find it.
Right. So next topic, I watched a video on Aussie Arm Wrestler's channel. It was a live stream with Sarah Backman, and she mentioned that the Olympia tournament. I don't think you were there. Did you compete there? No, you weren't there. So
That was out.
she said that they paid everyone, but they didn't pay me. First of all, she complained about the prize money for women. It was $3,000, and she said that they paid the second and third prize money guys, but I had to be in constant contact, emails and everything. Then I finally got paid. Like if she hadn't contacted them, they wouldn't have paid her. And
Who
the
was?
the question about that is, she was saying that like if they pay women equal amount of money, then a lot of women would show up. Like why there was less amount of money. And Aussie arm wrestler Jake Ward, he asked her like, what do you think we should do to encourage women to compete more or to have a equal prize money for them? And she herself didn't have any answer. I found
Yeah.
that kind of surprising. If you're complaining about something that it should be equal, you should have a solution for that. And he asked her twice, and she had no answer to that. Do you think it is possible, or should there be a equal prize money in such situations?
All right. So this is like a kind of a pet subject
Gender pay
amongst
gap.
like James Reed. His wife is a high level American women's arm wrestler. And because I do the promotions with him and, our focus that we have on the attempt to grow women's arm wrestling, these topics come up quite a bit. And unfortunately, as you say, there are very rarely any clear cut solutions that have proven to work. So it's kind of an exercise in futility. So I think it's a cyclic thing, right? Starting off at the fact that arm wrestling is, whether it is or isn't, it is perceived to be a masculine and jockish, brutish type sport, which is a huge turnoff to most women.
Mhm.
So when you enter a new woman into arm wrestling, they usually have to go to practice with a bunch of guys, and as nice as these guys may be, a lot of times they either don't want to arm wrestle with the young lady because they don't feel comfortable, or they're actually not helpful to them because they are just stronger than them, or they just allow them to work, and try and help them. But then that never gives the young lady the actual feel of a true woman's hand and competition. So when they get into the tournaments, it's such unknown territory, like every guy at your practice is telling you how great you feel, and then you go up there and you get crushed. So there's like a lot of layers to this. And then when you enter into like the true women's professionals, like the highest level, obviously Sarah being the pinnacle, then you have that huge gap, right? Where like Sarah at a local US tournament, no one's going to show up. I mean, she can enter the men's class and probably win at her body
Mhm.
weight. So a lot of there's that trade-off of like, okay, like you're intimidated by the practice in the men, but then you're also intimidated by the higher level women that have a gap. So I guess like we talked about this before when tying it back to the money. And unfortunately, um, it's the same thing as with the men. If if I don't create the draw that Devin Larratt creates, I can't
Mhm.
expect the same money.
Of course.
Now, would equal money, to women entice more to show? I think only if you're paying all the way down the weight class. Like you need to pay down to like sixth place. That's going to entice people. It's the
Yeah.
same thing WAL did early on. They paid down to eighth place. So if that guy is going to Vegas and he knows his overhead is $600 and all he has to do is place top six and get his event covered, get his travel covered, now we're enticing people.
Yeah.
So there's a thin line. Unfortunately, like Travis Bajan had a nationals out in Phoenix, Arizona. When I pulled Ryan Bowen the first time, Ryan came over and everything, and that paid out, and it paid out. I think the payouts were like $1,000 to first place, and then like women's were like the same, and we didn't fill the weight classes. Like there were pre-written checks that were not cashed because at one point Travis was told my wife, look, if nobody gets into 143s, do you want to sign up? Because all you got to do is walk up to the table. And you know what I mean? If there's two people in there, you're taking home at least a third place, you
Mhm.
know, like that. So unfortunately, I don't know if it's really about the money.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, maybe it would be enticing,
I
but
think
again,
I
this
think
is a
Paul,
tough time.
I think it is about in general for strength sports. I would love to get some data from some bodybuilding channels or from strongman powerlifting channels. Are women actually watching? Because for arm wrestling, we clearly know that no arm wrestling channel really has over 3% female audience watching. Like everyone is around that 1 to 3% range. So clearly, women are not interested in watching arm wrestling. For competing, you need to train, you need to travel, you need to sacrifice a ton of things, and in for just for watching a YouTube video, it doesn't take anything from you. Anyone can do that, and what is available for free, women are not doing that. So I don't think there is anything for now that we can do to encourage women. And if we had the data, like if it is same for every strength sport, because my assumption would be it can be same for every strength sport, that women are just not interested in strength sports. Like what would your assumption be? Let's say if we talk about a football channel, a football YouTube channel that covers news and stuff, what would your guess be? Like how much female audience does that channel have?
Maybe percentage men, but as of late, female football fans have spiked hugely. And I think a lot of that has to do with the entrance of like fantasy football, where you can make a team and like, it's more of a game then. But it like viewership of football in this country for females has gone up big time in the past 10 years. Now, when you start thinking about like strength sports, like it's not an equal amount for sure. But like when you look at like powerlifting, like those powerlifting events, and it's interesting to compare powerlifting and arm wrestling, because powerlifting is still a niche sport, but it's established completely and it's totally organized and it's totally regimented. So like those events, like those promoters of those events don't have to worry about losing money.
Mm-hmm.
Like arm wrestling, you got to worry about losing money because people might not show up. But there are women who are diehard in those sports. Look at CrossFit. Women's CrossFit is huge. The only difference is you don't get in arm wrestling, you don't get that total body fitness payoff that comes along with that competition. I think we can market it better, and I think we need to. And I think that we need women marketing. Like we really need at the risk of sounding like a meathead, I think we need women with charisma who are at the forefront of the sport, and have like that Sarah Backman level, like to aid in the process of helping promote it. And I mean, it's not going to be easy because everyone's platform is so small. But I mean, I think it's tragic when we have 4 weight classes for women, because we want to cater to the weight classes, because weight gaps for women are even more detrimental than for men. Like you can't have that 156-pound woman in the open class. You need to have another class.
Yeah.
So like we try to have these 4 or 5 weight classes for women and we don't fill them out. And it's so tragic because we have these diehard women training and they'll go to this huge national level event and they'll have 3 people in their class. But I think we all got to kind of band together. I was talking to Sarah Latona at the Monster Factory, and she's really trying to like champion the cause. We need more of it, and we need more women reaching out to other women and going with them to practice or bringing them to practice, and kind of facilitating.
Yeah.
I do my best at practice. I always do. I always try my best to take my time to work with every young lady that comes. But again, what am I really? I can give them some technique stuff, but I'm not. My hand is going to be bigger than their. Is it real? Is it really a look?
Mm-hmm. And did you watch the Victoria Carlson versus Carolina Peterson match?
Absolutely, because Michelle Dugan was pulling right after that. Yeah. So I got caught. I was like, and it was like early in the morning on a Saturday. I got like 7:30 in the morning. I put this thing on. A couple matches prior, I'm like half asleep. And then I get to the Victoria Carlson match and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start really focusing here now. Because I'm thinking Michelle's going to come like an hour later. I'm still looking at this match. What a war.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? If you put that match on the old WAL platform, I mean, it's a million views.
Yeah.
Like, just because of the pure, like, you could just title it 1 hour arm wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. So, as of now, Paul, it has 7,000 views. And I asked Christian about this. I asked him to give me the stats. And can you guess how many percentage were women audience out of those 7,000 people who watched this super match?
4.
0%.
Oh, even worse.
That's free. Now women cannot complain. Like, this is one of the most amazing matches and nobody is watching. But for some surprising reason, the live stream had almost 2,000 views. And when I asked him about the live stream of the same event, that had like almost 21% female audience. And this is by far the highest female audience I have ever seen on an arm wrestling video. 21% female.
But that was an all-female event. So every diehard female arm wrestler, because I was in the comments, man. I'm in the comments talking my nonsense and doing my trolling or whatever I'm doing. And it's like, it's all the ladies that I know, you know what I mean? Like, and then supporters of whoever was in that match. So like, you see the names on YouTube and So I mean, rightfully so. It should be at least 20%. It should be more because it was an all women's event. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's tragic because Michelle trained for that event for like 6 months. Like, that's the Super Bowl for her. She's going to Sweden, pulling with the greatest women's arm wrestlers. We're talking about this, Fia and Malin. Like, that's the Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, it's like no one cares, And I really empathize with that. I think it sucks. And I think, training with women like Michelle, I know what she puts into that sport. Like, her dedication, work ethic, and drive is ridiculous. And it's like, no matter what, it's still second fiddle. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel for it. I just, again, at the end of the day, if somebody has an answer, like if somebody's in the comments right now and has a really dope suggestion, I am all ears.
Adam Hasty saying it's promotion. Gabby versus Backman will pull more audience than 2 unknown men. It's all promotion. I agree. For me, one thing that was depressing is Sarah Backman is someone who has been doing exactly what needs to be done to grow female arm wrestling. She has a great Instagram page. She had a great YouTube channel. She doesn't post there anymore. That is my complaint. For whatever reason, she cannot find an editor, I think, for her YouTube channel. She was in like WWE, making, like, everybody talked about an arm wrestler being in WWE. Before that, when she lived in Sweden, she did a reality show as well. I think, I don't remember that name. So she has been doing what is needed to do to grow the sport, and she still doesn't know what she needs to do to grow the sport. That's the problem. If she doesn't know, then nobody knows. Then nobody knows.
I mean, is it about knowing, or is it about having the emotional energy to actually put it to fruition? Because, like Adam say right there, like, it's about promotion, right? So first off, it's about who has the biggest draw, and then how can you use that draw to attract more people? And there's a lot of energy that's going to have to go into that for sure, big time.
Hmm. I think it may have to start from like Instagram, TikTok, things like that, where small flashy clips that go viral, where women can see, yeah, this can be the representation. Somewhat, I will not say exactly, but the videos like Irina Glad kind of Beauty and the Beast type of videos, like
To
you can be
me,
both.
Irina Kaya is the only one who is making a consistent, concerted effort. Because I feel like her posts, regardless of, or like just the social media on her, going like into like high volume areas and arm wrestling men. And and it's not necessarily that it's but it's showing women that you can be petite, attractive, and still really good at this sport. And you can also make men look dumb, which I find me a woman that doesn't want to make a man look dumb. I know my wife loves to do it. So I mean, to me, that is the best approach, is get it out there and say, like, hey, this is possible. It is possible for you to be trained, technically sound, and be able to beat a man of your same weight.
Hmm.
Like that, and you don't have to unfortunately, the fact that she's attractive shouldn't be a thing, but it is. And we talk about this. I talk about this with my wife at work. My wife is like, an executive and all this stuff. But we talk about like, hiring process and how much easier is life if you're not hard to look at. It doesn't make it like a sexist thing, but if you have two candidates that you're going to hire and they both have the same basically resume and experience level, I'm not saying I'm doing it, but 9 times out of 10, the more attractive person is going to get hired if all other things are level. So like when you have that, somebody's easy on the eyes, they can communicate, and they're also really good at something, sadly, the onus really falls heavily on them to help promote, because that's in their skill set, it's in their wheelhouse. So I think Irina Kaya is like one of the best. Like, and I remember like starting arm wrestling. I've still never met her or really even seen her compete live. But yet her social media presence and her viral video nature is something.
And this topic is a topic that needs further discussion. Maybe I'll upload a video on my channel when I do some research about this. The performance enhancing pancakes. LOL. I just noticed the title. You cheeky son of a gun. Title is amazing. It was a suggestion from a viewer.
I
Deep
thought that
inside
was your
ArmwrestLINN.
idea of performance. I thought that was maybe you who submitted that.
No, no. So, final question, Paul. It is a super chat from GR Williams. Then we'll end this show. Arm wrestling news. Will the Shaw versus Thor match happen, and at what venue? I don't think we have heard anything about that match. I just made a video about it as a fantasy match. Like if it can happen, I think King of the Table would be best. But some people say Monster Factory. However, I don't believe Monster Factory MMT could promote this match properly. Thoughts? So that's exactly what I said. Like I mentioned in a video, like Thor and Eddie had $1 million or multi-million-dollar fight, and somebody mentioned like, "Are you crazy?" Maybe it was like $100,000. I'm not sure because they were ready to bet millions of dollars for charity, and Core Sports sued they sold streaming rights to someone and they didn't pay them, so Core Sports ended up suing them for $2.5 million. I think it was that amount, and they got it, and they were betting millions of dollars against each other to donate for charity. I think it was $1 million fight. What would you say about Eddie versus Thor?
Are you saying like the pay-per-view revenue, or are you saying what did they get paid?
What
That's
athletes got paid? Yeah.
Well, okay, so like Floyd Mayweather, he gets $100 million off of pay-per-view. That pay-per-view makes way more than $100 million.
Hmm.
So like if we're looking at pay-per-view revenue, I could see where maybe it was $1 million or $2 million. I don't think that they got that much money. I'm
Hmm.
sure that's public information somewhere though.
It was free. It
I,
was free to
I
watch.
would guess.
So
I
Core
would guess.
Sports Core
I
Sports
would
sold
guess.
the rights to Segi TV, and
Yeah.
they streamed it for free, but they didn't pay them back, so they sued them for $2.5 million, and that's what
Yes.
they got.
So that would have been the pay-per-view revenue.
Yeah,
So I
total
would
overall
guess that I would guess that Thor
five
was
hundred thousand,
probably
both of them combined, maybe.
maybe combined with Thor getting a heavy portion of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the boxing background. That's my guess.
Yeah.
But I think that's, that's about what it was worth, I think. And that's more, you know what? That's more than you're seeing a lot of like high level UFC fighters get.
Yeah. But there has to be some other revenues, but because they were themselves betting like $1 million, $2 million. If I win, you donate to my charity, or if you win, I donate to your charity.
If Brian Shaw and Thor have an arm wrestling match, no one's going to give them that kind of money for it. That's not going to happen for arm wrestling. Now, if they're genuinely interested and they say, okay, what is the opportunity to make the best return on investment and content, then honestly, the Monster Factory might be the better option, because Michael is just going to feed them content, like they'll do all kind of weird other stuff. And Michael's already tied into that fitness world. Whereas like East versus West or King of the Table, it's just going to be that finite little bit of stuff,
Yeah.
There won't be, well, I guess maybe King of the Table, they could do all that grip stuff over there and everything. So yeah, I don't know, man. It would be interesting, but I think for both of them, it'd be more of a labor of love if they're that interested in the sport.
Yeah. And who do you see winning that match? Shaw versus Thor.
Brian Shaw all day.
Yeah, he looks
Not
strong.
close.
He looks
Not
strong.
close.
That's what I also said in that video, because you can see by the way he's arm wrestling. And I made a comment that Shaw looks interested in arm wrestling, but somebody corrected me like, what have you seen from Brian Shaw since the time Derek left? Nothing. So what was that? Was it a one-time collaboration? Was it just a show off that, yeah, I'm going real hard into arm wrestling, I'm excited?
I remember Brian Shaw doing another video. Are we talking about the same thing? Was it with Juji? Where he got with Paul Walther down in South Carolina. He might have gone to Juji, because I remember Michael Bianchi and Paul Walther was there. And this was years ago. This was like the early pandemic or pre-pandemic.
Okay.
So he's been around it. Like he's been exposed to it. And he's also doing this crazy grip stuff, which ties in. He's getting equipment from, like, I think he has equipment from Arm Assassin Strength Shop.
Yeah.
Those guys are all tied in. He's doing the grip stuff with, associated with Jed Johnson. There's a lot of crossover there. He's been exposed. It's not new to him.
Mm-hmm. Have a good Christmas, Pradeep and Paul. J.R. Williams, thanks. But I personally, we do not celebrate here Christmas here. Not many Christians live in India.
Maybe I'm gonna send you a Christmas present. I'll send you a Christmas present.
Thanks. I'll accept that. I'll accept that. So thank you very much, Paul, for your time. I know it's like almost midnight there.
Yeah.
11:30 maybe. So thank you very much, guys. Subscribe to Paulin's YouTube channel. We will further this discussion next time, maybe on Paul's channel. Paulin struggles with live streams. Last time he got really frustrated.
Well, listen, you tried to beta test something on me. Hit the live together button that you'd never done. I'm on there the whole time. I'm like, blame it on Pradeep. All right, I'm out.
Yeah. Right. Thanks, Paul. Thanks.
Yes, bye. Thanks, guys. Hey, have a blessed holiday. Take care, guys.